It's Christmas. It's the North Pole. Who you gonna call? As Robin Hood said a few episodes ago, you called? Also, this is a dream. No, it's not. Not really. I'm joking. This is actually true. This is reality. Ooh, nice shades. I might get a pair for the next series. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of the Doctor Who 2014 Christmas special, Last Christmas. It's a Christmas special, everybody. Yay! And funny enough, if I've got my timings right, this review should be itself coming out on Christmas Day 2020. Woo! Hopefully, lining this up. Um, Last Christmas. Uh, it's 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 all right. It's a decent Christmas special, I guess. Um, the plot of this episode sees the Doctor and Clara arrive at a North Pole base, um, who are doing something. And they are being attacked by these creatures called the I can't remember what their proper name is. It starts with a K, but they're known as the Dream Crabs. And they basically give people a dreamlike state whilst they are killed by these dream crabs in a sort of a fashion like the face huggers from Alien. Um, so so the Doctor and company have to try and stop these dream crabs, and it turns out they are in their own little dream, caused by the dream crabs when they arrive at the North Base. But it seems turns out there are more than one dreams in this going on at the same time. Not to mention Santa Claus is here, as he's trying to help out stop the dream crabs as they seem to be popping up all over the world, especially at this base in the North Pole. So that's basically the plot of Last Christmas, and it's a good Christmas special. I mean, once you get around the fact that there's several dreams going on all at the same time, then it's all right, I guess. The pre-title scene sees Santa and his two elves, Wolf and Ian, the latter played by Dan Starkey. Or does he play Wolf? I'm not sure. Um, and they were on Clara's roof for some reason, and then the Doctor turns up and he takes Clara and he has a stern words with Santa. The last time we saw the Doctor and Santa, Santa was in the TARDIS asking the Doctor what would he like for Christmas, and then now we're at this rooftop. He realizes what's going on, and then we then go to the North Pole. It's kind of a bit contrived. I think it's due to the fact that because Jenna Coleman was initially going to leave at the end of Series 8, but then decided to come back for the Christmas special, so they had to shoehorn her. They had to write her in. So we got this weird post-credit. We got the weird post-credit scene at the end of Last Christmas, or rather mid-credit scene, which I think should have been a post-credit scene or before the credits had rolled. Which might have been okay if we went straight into the action with the story. And then we get the four supporting characters of this story, besides Santa and his elves. We've got four scientists at this research centre, a Scottish lady, a black lady, a white blonde lady from presumably the north, and Patrick Troughton's son. Michael Troughton, not David, don't get excited. Who may or may not be a bit of a pervert, perhaps a little bit. He's definitely not the nice. I wouldn't say he's not nice, but he's not like the most. He's a bit insensitive. There's a mention of him touching his hand on Shona, the blonde white ladies from the North's leg as some sort of comfort. The Scottish lady questions comfort for who, and then later he's eating a turkey leg a little less gracefully, whilst everyone's discussing what the facehuggers are going on and doing. In fact, he's actually the character who contributes the least to the story. No wonder he's the only one who actually does get killed properly in the story. Ah, well, I would have liked them all to have gotten out, but if any of the characters actually had to be killed off, I'm glad it was him, not any of the three women, because they were good characters. Well, I wouldn't say Michael Troughton's character was bad, but he wasn't very. He was a bit insensitive. And to be honest, out of the four, um, he would be the one I would have wanted to see killed off first. And that applies even if the other three characters were men. If it was all men, but they kept the characters exactly the same in their personality or something along those lines, Michael Troughton's character would still be the one I would want to see killed off first if they had to kill off any. So yeah, Troughton does a good job in the role. I'm sure Patrick Troughton would be proud, but the character himself isn't that great. The other three ladies have their moments to shine. I mean, they're not the most spectacular characters. One of whom, Shona, was initially going to become the next companion, but that was dropped due to Jenna Coleman deciding to stay on and do Series 9. But there was the idea of Shona perhaps being a companion. She's a okay character here. Again, I think maybe she would have developed into an even better companion over Series 9, like I think Christina D'Souza and Courtney Woods would have done if they gotten more of a chance to become a companion. But no, Shona's just going to be in this one episode. But if she was in Series 9, I think she would have become a good companion over the course of that series. As for the other two, Ashley I just remembered her name, is the black woman who serves as the team leader at the base. She's actually a pretty good character. I really liked her. And the Scottish lady, I can't remember her name. But she was pretty great. I like how the Doctor calls her the sexy one, probably because she's an older Scottish woman like the Doctor. So that was that was funny. And he's not going to go into a relationship with her, although she probably would have been a good companion as well. As would Ashley. Not so much Michael Troughton's character though. I can't remember his character's name either. But yeah, the three supportive female characters are really good in this story. Shona's probably my least favourite of the three, but had she become a companion, I think she probably would have developed into a very good companion over the course of Series 9, and should she have stayed on Series 10. Although thankfully we've got Bill Potts in the latter series, so Shona's loss is our gain for Series 10. As for Series 9, no, it's our loss as well. But I'll discuss more about Clara in the Series 9 stories in the future Series 9 reviews. At the moment, she does a good job here, but she does feel like, despite this does kind of feel like a encoded to Last Christmas. I'm actually surprised it's not included on the Series 8 DVD or Blu-ray rather than it's on the Series 9 one instead. But it does feel like a nice wrap up to that story, and I suppose with Danny Pink and Clara dreaming about him, and she and the Doctor kind of working out that they lied to each other. The bits when the whiteboard, the blackboard with the chalk in Clara's dream within a dream within a dream, which might even be within a dream. Goodness, there's too many dreams in this episode. That is really effective. There is a sort of a way of telling the character she is dying and in a dream. But so we got some really good stuff with her and Danny Pink, and when the Doctor joins in him as well, in that bit. And Samuel Anderson has one last great performance as Danny Pink. One thing I didn't address in my Dark Water Death and Heaven review, and I had to add it in text at one point in editing, nor in my Series 8 ranking, was that thanks to Danny's death in the Series 8 finale and not coming back, he's staying dead, and that's going to be the case from now on. He's going to stay dead. He's not coming back in Series 9. He's not coming back in Series 10. This is it. This dream version of Danny is what we get. This dream version of Danny in this episode is all we're going to get after Dark Water, Death and Heaven. But the problem is, Orson Pink from Listen will now not exist unless he's like the son of Danny's brother or something. But Danny was in a children's home in that story as well, young Danny. So Orson's now going to be erased from time, or perhaps. So yeah, and that story kind of hinted that Clara and Danny were his grandparents, perhaps, or at least Clara was his grandmother. and he was a descendant of Danny. So, yeah, I mean, we had sort of an ending for Clara kind of in line, but then Danny Pink gets killed off. So yeah, that's scratched off, and now anything we do with Clara just doesn't matter anymore because this future has already been erased from existence. Well done, Stephen Moffat. Well done for, yeah. You know what? Listen, kind of feels more pointless now. That the series 8 finale has gone past. It feels more pointless, apart from the Clara Danny relationship building. But besides that, it kind of feels a bit more pointless now. Um, but Danny still gets a good bit here. Anyway, so the only other characters to talk about are Santa Claus and the elves. Now, the elves are alright, they're just your typical comedy elves. They're a bit annoying in times, but they're not terrible. Dan Starkey plays one of them. I'm not sure, I can't remember the other guy's name, but he does well too. They do well for what they get with the material. They're basically funny Sontarans without having to be Sontarans, which actually is slightly better then, because the Sontarans, yeah, they're a silly concept, but they're not supposed to be taken as a joke. They may be seen as a joke, but their actions would be what is the. It's basically like the Daleks. They look like they're silly. It's their actions that then make the characters. And I think Stephen Moffat kind of ruins that with the Sontarans. I mean, I'm fine with it with Strax to a point. But once like in the Time of the Doctor, it just got a bit too silly. So hopefully Chris Chibnall's going to be sorting that out in Series 13, as they have been seen on location filming at least one episode from Series 13. As for these guys, though, I'm fine with them being comedy elves because this is part of a dream, so to speak. It's part of the story, and it kind of worked well with a more upbeat and comedic Santa Claus, played by Nick Frost, who does a great performance. Have an issue I just want to quickly point out. The title sequence of this episode, it's a more festive, snowy Christmas one. It's a bit silly, a bit annoying, but I can live with that. But the inclusion of Nick Frost's name in the title just felt like a tacked on afterthought. It should have either come after Jenna Coleman and before the title of the show, Doctor Who title, or not been included in the first place. It just feels like a tack on after the name of the logo. At least when we have the titles for not the Husband's Row song, the one after Return of Doctor Mysterio, we have Peter Capaldi, the eyebrow face shot, and Matt Lucas, and then we get the Doctor Who title. And to me, that feels like a transition of the Series 8 and 9 titles into the Series 10 titles, where we then have Peter Capaldi, Pearl Mackie, and Matt Lucas Doctor Who title, then the face, and then the title of the episode and its writer. So that episode's title sequence feels like a transition from Series 8 and 9's titles into Series 10's, slightly altered versions. And I think that's why Matt Lucas's was a little bit later on in that title sequence than having the face first, because they were going to have Pearl Mackie in that spot in the next episode, and then move the face a little bit later on. So it felt a bit tacked on it felt slightly tacked on when we saw it on broadcast, but once we got the Series 10 titles properly, then it made a bit more sense. Whilst here it is definitely very tacked on, especially as it comes after the actual show's title. It just feels, yeah, it didn't need to be there. And if it had to be there, then it should have been before the show title and or the face. Okay, before I move on to my next point, I need to address what dreams are which dreams and who's having dreams within them, because it's going to get complicated. I'll be naming the dreams as we're going backwards through the episode. The first dream is the Doctor dreaming about Clara being old and not actually being out of his dream crab just yet. The second dream is for everybody, where they are all dreaming that they are at this North Pole base and Santa is here. The third dream is when they're attacked by the dream crabs at the start of the episode, which leads to Santa having to rescue them. And the fourth dream is Clara's dream about Danny. So after they deal with the third and fourth dreams, the Doctor is just prepared to walk out on the crew members, even though they're still dream crabs there and they're still a threat. And then he realizes, oh wait, we're still in a dream because we're at this base in the first place. And it just feels like, why was he going to walk out on them? I mean, yeah, they dealt with the dream crabs, but the threat's not over. He's just walking out on them. Not even the Sixth Doctor probably wouldn't leave until the whole threat was over. So I don't know why 12's just walking out on everybody when there's still stuff to be done. And then it's only just when he's outside that he realizes, oh wait, we're still in another dream. Blast it. I just felt like that was a bit out of character for any Doctor. They're just going to walk out on everybody when there's still a threat there. And these guys didn't do anything to deserve being left to fend for themselves or anything. They weren't bad. Not even Michael Troughton's character, who I thought was a bit insensitive, but even he wasn't a bad character nor a dislikable one, just a bit insensitive. So none of them should have been left to their fate, so to say. So I'm not sure why the Doctor was just walking out on them. I don't know. It just felt a bit out of character for any Doctor. Even the Sixth Doctor wouldn't have done this. He would have sorted the situation out and then said, "Right, now we're done properly this time. I'm off. Bye." Even the Sixth Doctor would have done that, and that's TV Sixth Doctor, not Big Finish Sixth Doctor. He would definitely have stayed. So yeah, I don't get this. Why 12 just walks out? Oh well. Anyway, so it is a bit complicated to try to work out what's a dream and what's not a dream, and then the dream crab getting up and trying to kill everyone during this in dream number 2 when everyone's starting to realize it. The way that they realize dreams 2 and 3 are really well effective. With the whole book stuff, where things not the first lines of a page are not quite the same not the same for everyone. I also love the nice reference to Russell T Davies with number 57, like how floor 570 in the Doctor Falls is a nice reference to Russell T Davies, as he used 57 quite a lot, or at least that's what Stephen Moffat said. 24 is a bit more of a random number, but 12 relates to the Doctor, and within the 11th Doctor's 12th Doctor's eras, 11 and 12 would be used for each one respectively quite a lot. So that's a nice bit. There's not really much else I can say about this episode. I thought it was alright, had some good moments. Oh, and one more thing. It seems like everybody in media keeps forgetting that, with the exception of Rudolph, the reindeers are supposed to be girls, but they keep being treated like boys, or a mixture of boys and girls in some cases. The mixture's not too bad, but it seems to be everyone thinks reindeers are boys for some reason, but Santas are girls, apart from Rudolph. Obviously, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, who his red nose acts like when Santa presses a fob on his like a key fob and it goes off. God, I thought the 10th Doctor locking the TARDIS like a car in the End of Time Part 1 was silly, but this one's taking the biscuit. I would have liked Rudolph to become a character, actually. He would have been a fun character in this story. Actually, funny enough, that does bring me on to something that K9 was actually going to appear in the story. Stephen Moffat had said K9 was initially going to appear in the story. He's not sure which one, maybe K9 Mark 5. God, that would have been brilliant if he had joined the TARDIS in Series 9. But yes, he would have turned up at one point. It would have been a dream, and it probably would have just been for a cameo. But how great would it be for K9 Mark 5 to be introduced for Series 9? That would be great. But unfortunately, K9 has yet to return to the Doctor Universe. The last time we've seen him on screen is the last episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures Series 4. He doesn't turn up in Series 5, or what was filmed for Series 5, and he has yet to return to the TV universe. So, unfortunately, K9 has not returned to Doctor Who since 2008, and not returned to the Doctor Universe since 2010, apart from mentioning the Farewell Sarah Jane Smith thing from Russell T Davies a few months ago. But that was more of a passing mention. But yeah, that would have been a fun moment to have K9 turned up in this episode. That would have been incredibly funny. On a more visual side, it's directed well, sets look great, the face huggers look really great, and it's filmed really well, and the whole Dream Within a Dream thing is executed really well, but the story kind of, I don't know, it's alright, I guess. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible either. It's okay. It's better than meh. It's better than average. It's good. But it's not amazing. So I will be giving Last Christmas a 7 out of 10. I think the main thing is we kind of have to get a grasp of what is actually going on in the episode, but it does get a bit too complicated, and it is a Christmas special, so you want something a bit more simple, and as it's one of the bigger stories like End of Time or Time of the Doctor, in that case it's allowed to go a bit more big with its scale. This one is neither big in scale like those, or a smaller, more simple plot like, say, Doctor Wither in the Wardrobe or The Next Doctor. Yeah, some of those can have a bit more intrigue and mystery into these stories and have a bit more than just a simple run around at Christmas. But I think this one was a bit more of a complicated story than it needed to be for a Christmas special. If it was a normal episode, it would probably have worked even better, minus the whole Christmas stuff. But as a Christmas special, it is a bit more convoluted than what you may usually get. It's also one of the darker ones as well. In fact, this is the first 12-rated Christmas special of the new series, with the return of Doctor Mysterio following suit 2 years later. And the New Year specials would follow suit 3 years later with Resolution, and I would not be surprised if Revolution of the Daleks followed suit. So that's my review of Last Christmas. The story was pretty good, the execution was pretty good, but I think maybe it's a bit too complicated. At least for a Christmas special, might have worked better as a normal one, but it was still good. I wouldn't imagine this one gets rewatched quite a lot on Christmas, maybe around Christmas, but not so much on Christmas itself. But yeah, it's good, but it could have been a little bit better, or at least a bit more clear of what was going on. Anyway, next time we start the Series 9 reviews properly with the first 2 episodes of Series 9, as it will be a 2-part opener: The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar. Oh boy. I'll see you guys then. Goodbye. Also, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne YouTube channel.